Una, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10.
Prime Video just dropped the first episode of a new series featuring Terence, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez as they get ready for their big showdown this September. "It's all of my legacy on the line," Crawford said. "I'm putting everything, my 41 fights and years in boxing, into this. It's a big risk, but if you don't take risks, how do you become great?" The last time Crawford took a big leap, it worked out. Now he's hoping it pays off again.
Well, there you go.
It's a clash between two of this generation's boxing legends, both top 5 pound for pound and likely future Hall of Famers. They're meeting in a massive battle for undisputed glory. For Canelo, Crawford's slick, switch-hitting style could be a real problem. That same style has beaten him before. Fighters with no fear who stuck to their plan were able to outpoint him. Crawford now looks set to become the third man to hand the Mexican superstar a loss.
Balanceado. Ahí. Balancea ahí. Venga. Sube con día. Venga. Eso. ¿Dónde tienes tu finger? Igual bien. Una.
Canelo isn't blind to the challenge. "I know Crawford moves a lot, but I'm ready," he said. "I want to beat him and remind everyone who Canelo Alvarez really is." Truth is, most already know, but Canelo may be targeting his critics, especially Oscar de la Hoya. Canelo would love to use this fight as a chance to silence the naysayers once and for all.
Because Canelo, obviously he walks on quicksand. We saw it against Skull once again. Crawford is very, he's not one-dimensional. He can move, he can box, he can, I don't know how hard he hits to keep Canelo away from him, but, I think it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Ahead of the mega fight, Golden Boy Promotions founder and Canelo's former promoter, Oscar de la Hoya, spoke with Fight Hub TV. He touched on the age of both fighters and threw a jab at Canelo's footwork. On September 13th, two elite boxers will collide for the undisputed super middleweight crown. Crawford is chasing history. If he wins, he becomes the first male fighter to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes in the 4-belt era. Canelo, on the other hand, will be fighting the second bout of his 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season. A win moves him one step closer to completing that historic run by 2026.
I want to get your thoughts. Canelo, Crawford, who wins and why?
Well, look, I mean, I've been in this game for such a long time, and I like to say I'm a historian. There's never been a good little man that beats a good big man. It just it hasn't happened. I mean, the exception is maybe Pacquiao beating me, but
While discussing the Canelo vs. Crawford matchup, Oscar de la Hoya brought up their ages. They're both over 35 now, he said. I remember when I fought Julio Cesar Chavez, he was 32 and people thought he was done. I was a 99-1 underdog. When asked if his prediction changed after Canelo's unimpressive win over William Skull, de la Hoya said, "It's hard to say. But you know, Canelo walks on quicksand. We saw that again against Skull."
Facts are that they're over 35 years old, both. And I remember I fought Chavez when he was 32 and he was 99-1 and people thought he was over the hill. So
have you changed your pick for that fight, Oscar, based on how Canelo looked against Skull?
yeah, it's hard to say.
Looking ahead to the September 13th fight, de la Hoya praised Crawford's skills. "He's not one-dimensional, he can move, he can box," he said. "I don't know how hard he hits. Hard enough to keep Canelo off him? We'll see. It's going to be interesting." While de la Hoya seems unsure about Canelo's chances, he did say he's excited for the fight. Still, Crawford doesn't seem too worried. In his eyes, Canelo brings nothing to the ring that's unfamiliar or too tricky for him to handle. One thing fans are talking about is weight. Canelo's size could be an issue, but Crawford has bulked up too. That helps if his punching power moved up with him. Canelo hasn't had a knockout in a while, but that doesn't mean he's lost his punch, and Crawford knows that. "Yeah, he's got power, but so do I," Crawford said. "He hasn't felt mine and I haven't felt his. It's 50-50. We can both get hurt. But one thing I'll say, I'm not laying down. I'm coming to fight. I'm coming to win." One challenge heading into the September 13th fight is Crawford's quick jump in weight. First, he moved up to 154 pounds to beat Israel Madrimov and win the WBA and WBO interim super middleweight belts. Now, he's going up again to face Canelo at 168 pounds. That's a big leap, and many wonder if the added weight could affect the Omaha, Nebraska native. Adjusting to a new weight class is tough, but boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard believes Crawford has what it takes. He can do it. No doubt, he told Fight Hub TV. Weight's a challenge, but there's always a way.
You know, what about Crawford do you think can bridge the weight gap? Or like with you, what did bridge the weight gap? Because a lot of people are just saying, hey, Canelo's just too big for someone like Terence.
That's true. But you know what? There's always a way. Put it that, there's always a way. There's always a way to win.
There's always a way to win, Sugar Ray said, thinking back to his own career. In 1988, after a year off, he moved up in weight and beat Canadian Donnie Lalonde. "Every time he hit me, he hurt me, but I found a way," Leonard shared. He thinks Crawford will need to take some big shots, but use his skills to beat Canelo. A few years ago, fans hoped for a Crawford versus Pacquiao fight. They were in similar weight classes at the time.
Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, remind me if I'm wrong, but you moved up insane amounts of weight to fight Lanny the Don and you pulled it off.
Yeah.
How were you able to do it? And what if Crawford's listening to this or Canelo's listening, what do you tell them about their fight?
Whoever wants to win will win. You know what I mean? I'm not being funny. Whoever wants to win will win.
The will overcomes everything. That's how you did it. I appreciate you. Great seeing you so much.
That fight never happened, and maybe it was for the best. Pacquiao didn't look like his old self in his last few fights. Meanwhile, Crawford kept winning. He beat top names, won belts, and stayed undefeated. Now, he's fighting Canelo Alvarez this September. It's easily the biggest fight and biggest paycheck of Crawford's career.
Vamos, papá. ¿Te gusta? Tu ídolo, pa. Es inspiración. Es una inspiración tuya.
Pacquiao is also stepping back into the boxing ring this summer. He'll face current WBC welterweight champ Mario Barrios on July 19th in Las Vegas, Nevada. At 46 years old, Pacquiao is focused on taking on an opponent who's 16 years younger. But that didn't stop him from talking about the Canelo vs. Crawford fight during a May 23rd interview with Fight Hub TV. When asked what advice he'd give Crawford, Pacquiao replied, "My advice is that he should focus on speed," noting Canelo's size advantage.
Manny, what do you think about Canelo versus Crawford? Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think?
Good. Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo?
That's the challenge when you move up in weight. Your speed and power drop, Pacquiao said. So he needs to focus on that. Interestingly, the advice Crawford is getting is the opposite of what Pacquiao needs for his own fight. Most in the boxing world believe that to beat Barrios, Pacquiao will have to rely on power. Barrios is expected to be quicker and more athletic than the boxing legend.
Manny, any advice on Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times. Any advice for Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times and you were successful. What do you tell Crawford? Any advice?
My advice to him is just focus on speed and the speed and style. And also strength.
Boxing isn't as mainstream as it used to be, so we don't get many chances to see big fights. If we're lucky, we get 1 or 2 mega matchups each year. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is the fight of 2025. It's already being called the modern-day version of Marvin Hagler vs. Sugar Ray Leonard. Funny enough, just 2 years ago, Crawford vs. Errol Spence Jr. was compared to Hagler vs. Thomas Hearns, though Crawford did all the damage in that one. Earlier this month, it was confirmed Crawford will challenge Canelo Alvarez for the undisputed super middleweight title. The fight was originally set for September 12th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, home of the Raiders, and was part of a new boxing promotion backed by UFC's parent company, TKO, and Saudi advisor Turki Al-Sheikh. UFC boss Dana White pushed for a Friday night event to avoid clashing with UFC 320 in Mexico on Saturday, but Al-Sheikh didn't agree. White was removed, the venue changed, and the fight was moved to Saturday, September 13th. Now, instead of Las Vegas, the new location is rumored to be either New York City or Dallas, Texas. Also, Turki Al-Sheikh named Chella as the official promoter for Canelo versus Crawford, without mentioning Dana White at all. Could there be tension between them? Only time will tell. This whole situation could have been avoided. Al-Sheikh and White announced their new partnership back on March 5th, and UFC 320 was also revealed that same month. So how did we end up in this mess? Was it a mix-up about which date each one wanted? Did Al-Sheikh not get why White couldn't back the September 12th date? Or did he just not care? It could be that simple. Al-Sheikh seems like a my way or the highway kind of guy, and White runs his business the same way. Still, this hasn't gone smoothly. The fight is only about 3 months away. There's no venue announced, no press conference, and no real promotion yet. That's a problem. If this were matchroom boxing, Eddie Hearn would be fuming. 3 months might sound like a long time, but in boxing it's not. The fight could still go ahead as planned on September 13th, but we've lost precious time. We could have started press conferences, run a commercial campaign. Imagine fans watching a movie on Amazon Prime and seeing a Canelo versus Crawford ad pop up. That's what we should be doing. We talk about bringing in casual fans, but we don't actually try to reach them.
Canelo, ¿se va a Arabia la pelea?
¿Se movió de sede?
No.
Oye, se está manejando varias sedes, no quedó el estadio de los Raiders.
En eso estamos todavía. Pero ahora sí que vamos a hacer que todo sea lo mejor para la pelea, porque la pelea va a estar así muy grande y tiene que la gente disfrutarla aquí en Loco.
¿Alguna sede que Las Vegas?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas, ok. No sale de Las Vegas. Con tu gente. Claro.
Hay mejor fin de semana en Las Vegas.
We also tend to name-drop legendary fighters or historic matchups to make current events feel bigger, but the results often don't live up to the hype. That may not be the case with Canelo versus Crawford, though. If 37-year-old Terence Crawford pulls off a win, it would be historic. He'd become the first male fighter in boxing history to be undisputed in 3 different weight classes. He first unified all the titles at junior welterweight back in 2017. Then in 2023, he did it again at 147 pounds by knocking out Errol Spence. After grabbing a title at junior middleweight, he set his sights even higher. Now, he's aiming to move up 2 more divisions and challenge Canelo at 168, hoping to become a 5-division world champ.
Crawford is going to fight Canelo, because even if I have some doubts and misgivings about the size matchup, it is 2 action fighters who like to fight aggressively at times, not all the times, going against each other, and we'll see who can open the other person's tuna can, so to speak.
Canelo Alvarez, now 34, has won world titles in 4 different weight classes. After losing to Dimitri Bivol, who went on to become undisputed champ at light heavyweight, in 2022, Canelo dropped back down to 168 pounds. Since then, he's won 6 fights in a row. His latest was a unanimous decision over former IBF champ William Skull, but honestly, that might have been one of the most lackluster performances of Canelo's entire career. Was Skull really that tricky? Or is Canelo just not the same anymore? Is Crawford biting off more than he can chew? Hopefully we'll get answers soon, whenever and wherever this fight finally happens. Funny thing is, the last 2 paragraphs you just read probably do more to hype the fight than anything Turki Al-Sheikh and his team have done so far.
He's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup.
The difference is, we're not billionaires with a $2.8 billion budget. So let's get serious, get organized, and start promoting this fight the right way. Boxing fans deserve better. If this event is done right, we'll finally have something exciting and positive to talk about. The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is real and already building major hype among boxing fans and analysts alike. Naturally, the opinions are split. Some are all in, backing both fighters. Others are more critical, poking holes in the matchup and raising doubts, which is normal for big showdowns like this. That's it for now. For all the latest on this fight and everything else happening in boxing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on quality content like this. Until next time, peace.